Alright, YouTube, a fairly small handful of people continuously admonish me to do things to improve my channel. I've already, for instance, some time ago, I think like 2 weeks ago, I put out a poll of, things maybe I should invest in to improve the channel's overall quality. Now, I have decided in the future, since donations have skyrocketed, I am going to invest in a better microphone. I think that's fair. Why not, essentially? And so forth, just to make things a little more high-tech so they can stand up for the next, half decade or so I don't have to invest in them again. I would like to get a Blue Yeti or like a Samsung Meteor or something. This is a good microphone, but I want it to be... I know some people apparently collate my videos and listen to the audio only in like a podcast form, so for their benefit, I would like to get something that's a bit more enhanced than that. As far as my personal style, my delivery, my channel name, the content that I put here, none of that is going to change, ever, most likely. The reason being this. For instance, with my channel name, people said, well, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer 666, it's a pretty long name. Shouldn't you have something that's more professional since you're talking about politics all the time and current events? Well, no, I'm not going to change that because I think that would alienate probably several tens of thousands of people. Why would I build an entirely new channel and say, oh yeah, join me on my new channel, when some of those people are here specifically for the weird, the warped, sort of non-standard style content? Wouldn't make any sense to me. The very channel name at this point has become a fairly decently popular brand. Why would I abandon it? I've always been Sticks, Hex, and Hammer on YouTube, except for a brief period where I was Botany 101. So I'm going to keep being Sticks, Hex, and Hammer. That name has relevance to me. Now, of course, for those wondering, it is a combination. It has nothing to do with the band Styx, which apparently I'm surpassing in popularity in search results, which is hilarious to me. It has to do with the actual river from, like, Dante's Inferno, combined with the Hexenhammer, which is a term for the Malleus Maleficarum, the hammer of the witches, which was a Burning Times era sort of manifesto on how to tell who was a witch, how to persecute them. I simply invert the meaning, as in my channel is the hammer of the witches, as in wielded by witchery against authoritarian or superstitious forces. That's the ultimate meaning behind my moniker, and it's going to stay the same. As to my style, like, for instance, I dress, I don't dress formally. I don't wear a suit and tie. Part of the reason why I write books, I edit books, I solicit donations here, I just put the link in the description. I don't continuously browbeat people and say, hey, buy my stuff. One of the reasons why I do that is to avoid having to have a working stiff sort of 9-to-5 job, because I couldn't function under such a thing. I would much rather do what I'm doing now. I'm self-employed. Happily so. I'm making enough to get by on. Why would I want to abandon my style? I am much more comfortable dressed like this than I would ever be in a suit and tie. That's not going to change. That's a promise. That will never change. There will never be a time where suit and tie wearing Sticks, Hex, and Hammer appears on camera to talk to you about boring subjects. It's just not going to happen. As far as my delivery, one of the common complaints is, oh, you swear too much. Yeah. I'm not scripted. When I'm making these videos, I don't have notes beside me to go from. I speak off the cuff, almost invariably. There's an exception during the political live streams that I did. I had notes with the most basic rudimentary tenets of what was said during, for instance, the debates and so forth, in order to go by to analyze. But other than analyzing from those notes, I'm completely unscripted, 100% of the time. I don't need a script. I'm capable of delivering a coherent talk for half an hour and an hour, if need be, without using a script. I've simply, over time, over many years of doing this, I've built up my capability to speak for long periods of time without significant interruption, to remain coherent, generally on point. I know I ramble sometimes about whatever issue I happen to be covering. I'm not going to temper my language and start using a teleprompter to stop myself from dropping the occasional F-bomb or calling somebody retarded who fully deserves it. It's just not going to happen. That's my delivery style. I understand in some cases a person with a polite circle of friends, they may want to share a video to them from this channel, and they can't do that because I'm swearing occasionally. Okay, well, then don't share it to them, would be my advice. I mean, I'm trying to be polite here. I'm not trying to demean or talk down to anybody who has this issue with my channel. That's just the way that I talk. I'm honest, and honest people, occasionally they tend to swear. Well, yeah, that's going to happen. It's perhaps unfortunate for spreading the material around as far as people who want to share it on certain sites, certain platforms, but it's going to continue. I don't sit here and swear like a drunken sailor, in all honesty. Occasionally, yeah, I say fuck. Well, yes, who doesn't? You hit your thumb with a hammer. Ow, oh shit. Well, does that mean that situation is something drastically terrible, totally immoral and unethical, and that you should pay penance for the next year or something? No, it's just the way that human beings tend to talk. I deliver here in such a way, it's less formal. I realize most of the people watching this channel, okay, we're adults. We hear swear words. We have sex. We drink and so forth. It's not like I have to tamp down what I'm saying for a PG-rated audience. That's not my intent. My channel is for adults. I suppose there are probably plenty of young adults who watch it. Well, hopefully they're not repeating those words in school or something like that and then blaming poor Styx Hexenhammer for their bad behavior. By the way, being a rebel is great. But no, I'm not going to change my channel delivery. I'm not capable of doing so. Because I do this unscripted, yeah, I'm going to occasionally swear. I'm not going to remake the video 3 or 4 times and constantly remind myself, oh, don't say ass, don't say damn or hell or something like that. It's impossible. It'd be a waste of time for me. Obviously, most people don't care about that anyway. If you do, I apologize. Kind of, a little, but at the same time, it's not going to change. But yes, I will be sort of updating the format insofar as I am going to invest in a new microphone at some point. Probably next month I'll get it, which means that the audio quality on the channel will once again get an upgrade. I've thought about getting a better webcam, but anything past the C920 appears to be like a conferencing webcam. Well, I don't need to be here in 4K. It's not really necessary, and I'm not seeing any specific change in the design that would give any real benefit to the type of videos that I'm making. If anybody knows of any webcams that are extremely sophisticated, something above like the standard bearing model of Logitech, that would have better resolution, even better focus, and isn't like specifically for conferencing and live streams and stuff like that, yeah, I'd probably invest in something like that at some point. Yeah, that would be something of interest to me. That's the only way I really want to update the channel. I want to keep the informal feel. I'm not interested in setting up, an office with, all sorts of boring posters and sit here in a suit and tie and talk about the stock market or something like that. That's just not my forte. It's just not my taste. You've got to realize I'm a rebellious individual. I'm not seeking to follow anybody else's style. It's like when people say, oh, cut your hair. Not going to happen. Also, no, definitely not going to happen. Because I don't care about conventions within style. I just don't care. I can't be bothered to care. What I'm doing is clearly working. It's struck a chord with tens of thousands of people. Why would I want to change that up? I understand with a few modifications, yeah, the audience would probably double. Okay. Yeah, but I'd have to completely temper everything that I'm saying and doing. I'd have to change the fundamental principles of who I am. This doesn't work for me. It's destroyed relationships that I've been in before. My unwillingness to bend to other people's wishes, to temper critical aspects of myself, yeah, it can be a stumbling block for some things in life. That's okay. I'd rather hit that stumbling block than not hit it, temper who I am, and hit a bigger one down the road. It's just not going to happen. So don't worry about it. As Trump might say, don't worry, little Marco. I'm not going to temper what I say. I'm not going to temper what I talk about. Some people are like, oh, cover this story, cover that story. Well, if it's interesting to me, yeah, I'll probably get around to it. The thing is, sometimes I plan videos, and because there are other more pressing things to make, if it stays sort of in note form off to the side with the tags and everything, you have to put the tags in ahead of time and, you know, in order to make it time worthy to use YouTube now. Used to be it was easier to just manually enter them. Now with their new system, it makes more sense to actually put the tags in on a notepad file or something. If it's on the list for more than 2 or 3 days, it's no longer really current, which means that it generally gets deleted and I don't cover it at all. For instance, the idea of the UK's Navy talking about how they're getting rid of all their anti-ship missile systems. I'm not going to cover that, even though it's very funny. It's very amusing. Of course, the British Navy at its height was to be reckoned with anywhere in the world. Now it's barely existent, barely even a navy at this point. It's basically just a bunch of frigates and Coast Guard cutters with oversized guns, and that's all they have. It's an embarrassment, and it's very funny to think about how they've gone into such steep decline in only a couple of generations. But because it's no longer a current event, I'm not going to make an individual video for it. So now you know, you can Google that. Still UK anti-ship missiles or something like that. It's very, very funny. Sad, but very, very amusing. So yeah, that's a little bit on, no, I'm not going to change my channel name or split my channel up. Some people are saying, well, keep your political content here and move like the occult stuff elsewhere. They're twain. They're combined with one another. Some of these topics fuse the two. There's no reason to move it. It wouldn't be, I've been YouTubing a long time. I know what does and does not work as far as maintaining popularity, as far as maintaining the ability to reach people, as far as maintaining a channel and having that channel grow. It would not work. It would be a suicidal endeavor, so it's not feasible. I know about, trust me, you know, at this point with almost 16 million people having viewed my material, almost 70,000 people subscribed to the channel, I'm just going to sort of go with my instincts on that one. That's just the way that it's going to be. That's about all. Peace out.